All right. Well, here we go. Welcome back. And we are watching The Conjuring.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're starting the
Conjuring.
Conjuring universe. That's our series, kind of.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little series. I don't want to call it a mini series because fuck.
Yeah.
And to my
It's
understanding, you guys have seen all the movies?
yeah.
Yeah, we're up to date with those movies. So
Mhm.
we're
And to
pretty
my
good.
own understanding, I have not.
Yeah, you're not.
This,
Yeah.
this is my first time watching The Conjuring stuff. But I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I've
dude.
heard good things from you
I mean,
guys.
they were pretty hyped movies when they came out, but even then, I personally feel like they hold up. Some movies, like this one itself.
Yeah.
Just we're gonna talk about The Conjuring.
Yeah,
I
I
think
will
it's
agree. The Conjuring and Conjuring 2 are fucking amazing. But Annabelle, I like the other two Annabelle movies, but the first one, it was alright, I guess.
Yeah, I feel like the first one definitely has to be good if you're going to get a whole franchise out of it.
No shit.
That's true.
But you're saying that, I think you're telling me that the second one's the best one, so looking
Yeah.
forward to that. But till
And-
then, we have to watch this one.
Yeah, and which is
Which
fucking
is-
great.
yeah, which
It's
is
one of
not
my
even that
favorites,
bad.
so I'm not complaining.
All right.
Yeah, well, let's get into it.
Yeah.
Giant Warner Brothers sign, of course.
Not sponsored, but would like to
Would-
be.
Would like to be shit.
Yeah, I like the way it morphs into the new Lion Cinema logo.
Yeah.
I
Time Warner Company, dude.
remember they did all the Freddy Krueger movies.
That's true. They did do other freaky movies.
So of course the movie starts in first seeing Annabelle. That's who you see.
Yeah.
And it's Ed and Lorraine Warren talking to two roommates that are nurses.
Yeah.
And they're talking about how Annabelle would move, or they would find the key somewhere else, like small things like that.
It says year 1968. This is... But yeah, the Annabelle doll is a real doll. They
Yeah.
made this movie after the story started circulating on the internet?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about this because it needs to be talked about.
Here we go.
The Ghost Adventures kind of had a spin-off thing while quarantine was happening because they couldn't investigate. So they had well, I forgot the name of the show. What was it?
Oh my god.
Like I'll look it up, but basically the show
Artifacts. Ghost Adventures Artifacts.
There you go. Ghost Adventures Artifacts. People that have stuff that are kind of
Possessed.
Haunted or
possessed. Yeah,
possessed.
they would take it to Zach Bagans basically so he could check it out, or just see or get to meet it, but not.
Make a profit off it.
Yeah, I mean it
Well,
was.
it's because some people would actually donate these things to him.
Yeah.
It's like, here you go, like, I can't have this, like, this item's fucking possessed, and this is the story behind it. Here you go.
Yeah,
Right.
that's basically what's happening, and Ed and Lorraine's son-in-law.
Yeah.
Son-in-law is the
son-in-law.
one that is in.
Current possession of the real
Of
Annabelle doll,
Annabelle
which is
doll.
actually a Raggedy doll Ann.
Yeah.
Raggedy Ann doll.
Yeah.
There you
Yeah,
go.
it looks
And-
a lot scarier in the movie.
Yeah. And they
Yeah.
took it to Zach Bagans, and obviously he wanted to do EVPs and stuff like that, and he said it was fine as long as he didn't touch it. He can't touch the doll.
No one should touch it.
No one should touch the doll.
Even the
And-
guy that brought it, he had to wear,
Dude.
like, welding gloves.
Yeah,
like,
dude,
it was
he wouldn't
super-
directly touch the doll.
Yeah.
So they took the guy out and they had him in this other room where he could look through the cameras and stuff like that. And Zach obviously is doing the EVPs. And then out of nowhere, he's like, "Oh, I'm being like he started
Being a fucking asshole.
big fan of Zach Bagans, by the way. But
he was a
damn,
fucking
like in
asshole.
this episode, I was like, no, like, what are you
So you're
doing?
convinced he had an act going. So that he
Because
can
yeah,
trip
because
and-
he said he was like, oh, the doll was calling to me, and he kind of like brushed his hand against the doll's leg, And I was like, oh, okay, no.
Disrespectful as fuck.
Yeah, dude, right away when that happens, Ed and Lorraine's son-in-law gets up and he goes into the room and he was like, you're not supposed to touch it. And he was, and like, once he saw that, Zach Bagans like stands up and he's like, no, I'm sorry, I don't know what came over me. It was the doll. It was telling me to touch it and stuff like that.
Fucking asshole,
But I was
dude.
like, dude, you have your own museum of these things and you tell your guests you're not supposed to touch anything. You can't take pictures of anything. You can't do anything. And you disrespect someone that basically has the same rules as you. I was upset. I really was.
It's disappointed, I guess is the words. Like, really, dude?
Yeah.
Why are you like this?
You're canceled.
Damn.
No, not canceled.
I
I'm
mean,
still
you're
a big
canceled
fan of
after
Zach.
Vegas. You're canceled after we go to Vegas and go to your museum.
I'm a big fan of Zach Bagans. It was just that moment that I'm like, really? Like, why would you? Like, you have to respect. And that's basically it. So every time I see Annabelle in the movies, I think of Zach Bagans. I can't get it out of my mind.
Damn.
I know.
Yeah, disrespectful as fuck.
Okay, so getting back into the movie here, it's the nurses with their roommate, explaining that they had a haunting, I guess you could say, and they thought they could give the doll to the haunting, and they could have it pass as if they give the ghost a body.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm explaining.
No,
the
yeah,
best.
yeah, you are. What happened? They got a psychic to go to the apartment because stuff was happening, and then they said that it was like a little girl and stuff. So the nurse in them kind of took over it, and they allowed this spirit to take over the doll just so they can, I guess, I don't know, communicate.
Give it a body.
Yeah.
I think.
And then after hearing this, and obviously the movie is showing us what happened to them, Ed and Lorraine Warren tell them that it was never a ghost. It was an
inhuman spirit, which in other terms, it could be a demon.
Demon.
Yeah, dude. It's what I find kind of crazy is how these things are actually true events, like inspired by true events.
Mm-hmm.
How much are these people actually like dramatizing for the movies? You know, for Hollywood and all the stunts and all this shit.
Yeah.
How much are they actually taking to that extreme? Because we're looking at the first scene. Now we have Annabelle the doll writing messages on physical paper and writing messages. Oh, like you miss me. Okay. Creepy.
Yeah.
Now we have Annabelle fucking up a whole room. The
And
whole room
writing
says
"miss me" on top, yeah.
and then or it's me, and it's everything's scratched the fuck up, and windows are broke. I mean, little picture frames are broken, windows are fucked up. They decide to go ahead and trash the doll. They go to a dumpster outside. They're like, oh, fuck this. They go dump the doll outside. And this is where we're currently at right now. This is 3 minutes in. And all of this has already happened.
Yeah.
Like, how much is actually dramatized? This is crazy. They hear they're asleep. It's nighttime. Bang, bang, bang. Loud.
On the front door.
On the front door, right? They kind of all go, both of them go out. Kind of inching towards the door. What the fuck is that? Turn on the light that's right there before the door. They open the door, walk outside. They see nothing, and she sees a little paper on the floor that says, "Miss me."
Yeah, they had crumpled it up and threw it away with the doll.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
It's flattened out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how much of this is actually dramatized?
That's fucking crazy.
Can you picture yourself going through something like this? How would you even react? Because these people are freaked out. I get it. I understand. They're freaked out because they hear another banging. Because the girl turns around with the little paper of the "miss me,"
Yeah.
and they hear banging on one of the doors, like I guess a guest room that they have there. They open it up and like, and that's it. End of the scene.
Yeah, we assumed the doll was
Was
back
in
the
that
house.
room. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I want, since you're bringing it up about how much could be traumatized. I mean, we have no way to know right now.
Of course.
Maybe if we get a interview with someone, they could tell us. Lacking that, we have to just speculate. But I'm curious, how you guys feel about this kind of stuff, because I know we've all had paranormal events in our lives. This seems to be something.
I've always been creeped out with little ghost spirits, especially because demons or inhuman spirits.
spirits.
Yeah, inhuman spirits tend to go towards that route. Like they try to pretend that they're little kids just so people can be like humbled and be like, oh, it's just a little girl, it's okay, it's fine, or it's just a little boy. They're little, they don't know better. That's I've any ghost spirit that's a little kid or little boy, little girl, whatever, freaks me out, and I'm like, no, flat out no. Just because,
You believe it could be something in
yeah.
Yeah, because I personally think that, you know what, I'm open to the idea. Like, I'm very open minded when it comes to stuff like that, or the whole paranormal and the supernatural and all that stuff. So, a lot of the stories that I hear, like, I believe it. You know, it's like, oh shit, like
Yeah.
people go through this. You know, like these just things are real. But right now we're talking about Hollywood and how they're making a story, how they're bringing a story to life, right? Through obviously through video and showing us images of what could have happened, but that is extremely, extremely, I guess, strong for something supernatural to be able to have that much control. I personally have never seen anything like that or experienced something like that where there's writing all over one room.
I mean, I'm assuming that probably didn't happen. It probably overly dramatized for the sake of the movie, but that might have happened.
Yeah.
For me personally, I just think about it.
Take it with a grain of salt.
No, I just because I don't know if I even believe that there are human spirits. I think that if there is something that's going on, it is something more natural, but out of our understanding.
Okay.
And we just
That-
kind of simplify it as that.
Yeah, we simplify it and we put our own beliefs into it. Oh, then we believe that this thing is a person because it acts like a person. It seems like to have the memories of a dead person, right? But that could be whatever this thing is, just replicating the actions of a person that's been dead, just to let you bring it into its life, like you're saying. But what if it's not even if it's not a spirit? What if it's something extraterrestrial in nature? That's my thing. Cause just because we don't know anything about the ghosts, we know that there is some sort of presence that we've all experienced.
Yeah.
We have no way to quantify it, and that's the thing. Like all our tools and everything, it's all for earthly stuff. We just don't understand what else there is out there.
So far, I mean, we'll see, dude. I mean, eventually they're gonna be able to. We as a human race, right? We're gonna go more forward than what we have and know already. Hopefully, right? Because we just don't want to assume everything and just leave it a chance. I'm sure people are looking into it. People with the right tools, with the right fucking mindset with the right, whatever the fuck, to get the answers that we need. I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, if they come out and say, "Oh yeah, totally ghosts," you hold on to a grudge long enough, and you become
I don't
a
think
spooky
it's
ghost.
I don't think ghosts are left behind just because of a grudge. It has to be something else, or like
love.
no, not love. I was thinking like sometimes ghosts
Revenge.
don't even realize that they're dead. It's like accidents, and they're here because they don't understand that they passed away. So it's not necessarily grudges or love. It's
Damn, Lety doesn't believe in God and love, ladies and gentlemen.
The power of love. Come
Yeah.
on.
okay. I'm not saying that's the only reason I believe in love. Just not that being the only reason why ghosts are left behind.
Jesus. Okay. Well. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, going back to the movie here.
Sorry.
It gets cut out. The whole dramatization, I guess, because they're telling a story to Ed and Lorraine Warren. This is the first time that we actually see them. They talk about how they made a big mistake, letting the spirit trick them into going into the actual Annabelle doll. And this is just basically an introduction to the Conjuring movie and to who Ed and Lorraine Warren are.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what, I'm a demonologist and she's a psychic, basically, is what's going on right now. And that the doll was never possessed. That's what they talk about. It was actually it was given the impression of being possessed.
I think they say conduit.
Yeah, you're right. They used the doll as a conduit.
Yeah, like a.
Yeah, what the spirit was actually trying to do was possess one of them.
Mhm.
And that's basically how they received Annabelle into their fucking lives. And they're basically giving lectures at schools and all that stuff about supernaturals.
Yeah.
Yeah, about the supernatural world.
Because the scene kind of takes like a little turn, and it turns out we were watching like a video that they were presenting. To
Yeah,
the
they were
class.
presenting a video to a class, and that's basically them giving a lecture about the supernatural world.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I'm completely in love with Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Dude, yeah, they make the way that they perceived these characters was perfect. The chemistry between these two actors is really good.
And their style too. I love all the old and fucking 60s fucking style.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude, honestly.
With the sideburns and the back when men were men.
Apparently, yeah. Get canceled, Carlos. By the way, the image stops right there, and we get like a
Text scroll.
we get a text scroll. You wanna read that out?
Sure. Since the 1960s, Ed and Lorraine Warren have been known as the world's most renowned paranormal investigators. Lorraine is a gifted clairvoyant, while Ed is the only non-ordained demonologist recognized by the Catholic Church. Out of the thousands of cases throughout their controversial careers, there is one case so malevolent
Yes, malevolent.
that they've kept it locked away until now, based on a true story. And then I think we get the
Then we
title
get a
card.
giant. We get a giant fucking moan in our
Get
ear.
conjured, son.
Damn.
The Conjuring.
Boom, The Conjuring. Yeah.
The Conjuring. Title of the fucking movie, squirrel. I'm saying they just stole all this shit from Star Wars, dude. It's the same fucking color of the letters.
I was about to say, I was like, I don't understand why they chose yellow as the.
I mean, they
as-
changed the font. I get it. Cool.
I think movies use yellow because it pops. That's why.
Oh, it
They
pops
should have
in a
used
fucking black
red.
background. 1971, Rhode Island.
red on black background.
It's a family entering. Well, you were inside the house, and the camera's panning out through a window, and you see a family arriving, and they all start getting out of the car.
You can see a moving truck in the back.
Yeah.
Super happy family.
Huge family.
A huge, happy family, except for the oldest daughter.
Yeah, these people did not have Netflix, son. Like, there was nothing to do back then. Let's just have a giant family.
I want to point out that they portray it pretty exact, like down to the number of girls in the family, a huge family. I feel like we could have cut some of these characters and the movie would have been fine.
You think so? I
feel
feel
like-
like every girl goes through something.
Not really.
I mean,
something happens to all of them.
Something happens to all of them, but the same thing could have all happened to like 2 girls or like 3.
actually, there is one girl that nothing really happens to her.
One with the glasses.
Which one?
There's I'll tell you right now, because during one of those scenes, there's a bedroom on the left, I guess, of the stairs that they never went into.
All right.
I want to know which one now.
Okay, well,
All right,
whatever.
We'll
see.
get to
We'll
it.
get
I
to
mean,
it.
we're reviewing the movie.
Yeah.
So they were coming to the movie, unlocking it for the first time. Like, wow, we got a house. All
What
the
a
girls
giant
come in.
fucking house, dude. It looks like it's not a fucking plantation. What do you
I think
call
it might
this?
be like a little plantation.
Yeah, but
Is that
they.
what it is?
I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It looks like a really
There are
cool
bigger
house.
houses,
Yeah.
but there are smaller houses.
It's a big house.
Shit, it's a huge house.
It's a big house.
old.
It's bigger than my house now. I'll
Shit,
tell
it's
you
bigger than
that.
both our houses combined. I'll tell you that much. So yeah, let's call it a fucking mini plantation because it's surrounded by wilderness, and that's what I fucking love, dude. I actually like that a lot. Mm-hmm. That it's like a house like that. There's a lake in the back, you know.
Yeah.
And there's just surrounded by beautiful ass fucking trees. The house is torn to shit though.
Well, they got it in an auction.
Yeah.
So
I just want to point out that as all the families coming in, all the girls super gleeful, one of them trailing back, but finally coming in. The last one to actually not enter the house is the dog.
yeah, Sadie.
They actually try to urge the dog in, but he whimpers and doesn't want to do it. Or she whimpers, I don't know. They try
Yeah,
to urge
feeling
the
that
dog.
there's an apex predator inside of the house, dude. Here we go. We get a little montage of them moving in, dude. I like it. Oh my god, I'm gonna go under you guys.
What the fuck, super dangerous.
Honestly.
So you got two movers with a giant couch trying to move into the house. And then one of the girls actually goes under the couch. Super fucking whimsical.
Yeah, I like the camera work though.
I'd be pissed as if I was one of those movers. But this is actually a pretty technical shot. This is all one take.
Yeah.
Going through the entire house, seeing what every member of the family is doing. And the movers actually stop existing.
Yeah, because that's it. They just needed them for
That
the
is
couch.
true.
Dude.
Yeah, they just needed
Just
them
needed
for
them
that
the
one
couch.
scene.
The single shot ends with one of the girls hanging up a wind chime at the back end of the house. And she notices another one of the girls out on the lake.
The smallest girl.
This, the youngest girl over here, blonde little locks, some Shirley Temple looking ass.
Yeah, and she has like a little music box and just playing with it, and she just kind of looks behind her.
Yeah, she's sitting
And
at
she
the base of
kinda-
a tree.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
wanna
and
put
she
that
just kind of nods. She's like, eh.
up. Mhm.
You know, it's one of those shrugs that you're like, whatever.
Well, I found a toy, and then boom, takes it inside.
This is the scariest fucking
Yeah.
game I've ever seen in my
So
life.
the scene cuts. It's already nighttime, and you see the girls. They put in what's
A
it called?
blindfold.
A blindfold on one of the girls. They spin her around, and they're gonna go play hide and go clap. I've actually played this game. Very fun.
Seems a little dangerous.
Very
in a
fun
house you
in
don't
a
know.
one-story house, not a two-story. So
So they run away from this girl who's blindfolded, and then she's like, okay, I need to clap. And so they clap, and then she kind of gets a direction of where to go. And so she starts trying to find these people who are hiding in the house. She checks one of the closets. She thinks she hears someone clap. And she asks for another clap, and yeah, the girl in there, she claps. And then she rushes her,
Yeah, she rushes
like,
her.
Found you.
yeah, they end up
hitting the back of the closet.
yeah, one of the wood boards falls, and they discover the basement.
Someone boarded up the basement.
A huge sign that you shouldn't go down there.
Honestly.
Or a sign that you're trying to undervalue your property for tax evasion.
Oh,
It was
they
an
sued me.
auction, dude. So
So those people get tax evaded as much as they care, dude, honestly. So we get the father like, oh shit, what's going on? You know, and all the girls like, oh, it was her, it was you, no, you broke it, whatever. Because I mean,
you know, being girls.
yeah,
Started taking apart that wall to get at the basement here. And I feel like this might be a little dangerous. You really don't know if there's like, any natural gases.
Yeah.
There was the
but he goes down
70s,
with a
man.
match.
But yeah, the 70s. Whoa. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, he would have just smoked it.
fucking.
So he's going down these stairs, pretty tense little scene. All the females of the family up at the top of the stairs looking down. And he's like, oh yeah, just some old piano, some garbage, and whatever. The light of the match hits his finger. He snaps it away. He lights another match, and he just continues looking here. We can't really see anything in there. It's so dark that they don't give us anything.
Yeah.
Then the mother of the house is like, okay, we'll come back up. And for some reason, he leaves the box of matches down there for later loose.
Obviously, yeah, for later. And it's like, oh, don't go down there. There's spiders. And then the girls, and they all just go somewhere else in the house.
But they see it as a win. They got extra space they didn't know about.
Hell yeah,
They just
Yeah.
have to
dude.
go through the junk.
Yeah.
So they close up the closet and they get ready for bed.
They're looking outside. They're showing them the master bedroom right now. It's the husband and the wife. Wife's kind of looking out there and it's like, oh, we can't just leave her out there, pointing at the dog that's downstairs because the dog didn't want to go up. But the dog keeps running around. He keeps going back and forth, looking at her room, just barking. She just doesn't stop. And it's like, no, well, it's okay. She's gonna be fine. I have her tied up in the tree. The husband says. It's like, okay, well, what do you think? Well, it's gonna be great. Oh, I think it's pretty great already. You know, like just being in this house, whatever. And then of course they start like kissing and doing all this stuff. And it's like, well. He's like, oh, I thought you were fried, whatever. And it's like, shit, I'll fry you up right now, baby. And then obviously they start doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, they've probably been living in a tiny apartment with the fucking 6 kids.
That's true.
Is it 6 kids?
It's 5. 5 girls and the dog.
Yeah. 6 with Annabelle.
Uh-huh. Next morning, mom wakes up fully satisfied. And
Oh
she's
my
get-
god.
And she's got a bruise on her leg. Oh.
Damn, that action.
No, she's got a bruise on her, like, shin? It's kind of a weird spot.
Yeah.
Then she's checking on all the girls in the rooms.
Apparently,
Like
the
a
house is
yeah,
super chilly, super
yeah. The
cold.
whole house was cold, and then the oldest girl is like,
That one. They never go into that room.
yeah, they do. That's where she sleeps.
Dude, they never go into that room, dude.
That's where she sleeps. That's
Yeah,
her
but
bedroom.
but I've never seen the inside of that
What do you
bedroom.
mean? That's
That was
where
the
the girl would.
bathroom. That was the bathroom.
Oh, that was the bathroom.
She was brushing her teeth in there.
Oh, okay.
Never seen that room.
Okay, well, you don't have to use the bathroom. Anyways,
Damn.
Nothing spooky happens in
she
the
said
bathroom.
that there was a rotten smell in her room, and
Oh,
and
that's
the
right.
mom's like, "Is it still there?" And she goes, "No," and she was like, "Problem solved." Didn't think much of it. The whole house is cold. There is smells everywhere, but nothing's wrong.
And she keeps on going downstairs. She gets to the closet that they had been inspecting last night.
Yeah, that they later discovered on that it was actually a door. There's a door there to the basement.
So it's
So
like,
we have
Roger?
Roger. Yeah, exactly. We have
No
Roger.
response, and she goes downstairs to check him out. Go ahead.
Yeah, that we have Roger there looking at all this stuff, and he's uncovering a bunch of cabinets. That piano that was there last night, we get a better view of it, and he actually found like a little light bulb that I put down there. And she's like, "Oh, what are we gonna do with all that stuff now?"
But she says it with a smile, like she's really happy about all the stuff that they found.
Well, I mean, yeah, because we're talking about someone that,
Yeah.
because they do make it kind of clear that they didn't have, I guess, too much money.
Yeah.
So that they're very lucky to have this giant house and how they bought it like on the cheap.
You know, they have all these
Now
stuff.
they
Maybe
have all
they
these
can
things.
sell. Maybe they can
They
keep.
yeah,
you
they
know.
mentioned how some of it might be antique. They got to go through it.
Mhm.
It's a little bit of work, but it might be worth it.
Oh yeah. She now the camera goes to her actually pouring some water. Looks like she's gonna make like coffee or tea, something like that. I mean, it's the morning. I'm assuming coffee, right?
Yeah, and she turns and she notices the clock how it stopped at 3:07.
Now the youngest comes into the room. It's like, oh, Sadie, where's Sadie? Like, oh, I think she's still outside, honey. And it's like, okay. She runs into the dad. It's like, Dad, hold this for me. And gives her the doll.
And she runs outside.
And he's like, hey,
Hey,
By
what
the
did you
w-
do to me last night?
So and then after that, like she shows her like the giant bruise that she has on her leg, and we go to the girl running outside.
Super
And-
happy looking for the dog. And then suddenly her face drops.
Yeah.
And she screams. We see the parents run outside. And, oh, what happened? What happened? And we see the dead dog.
By the way, I remember the music in this scene being super loud for no reason. No
Dude,
reason.
nothing's happening. I mean, this is the difference that we're talking about
With signs.
with Signs. And I mean, other scary movies in general, like they don't really use. I feel like nowadays
not
they're
just scary
starting to
movies.
use.
I mean, all movies in general now.
Well, yeah, I feel like they're starting to use the music as a cue,
Yeah.
and that kind of bothers me.
Mhm.
I
I
rather.
think it could be done well, but I think scary movies specifically, we don't want the cue. We want to experience it for ourselves.
It's because this wasn't even like a cue, dude. Nothing was happening. It was just the music that is just scaring you.
Yeah.
It could have been like that, dun, that they did in Signs when he notices the alien on top of the roof of
Of the farmhouse.
the farmhouse. It was just a dun. It wasn't like a fucking loud
Dun,
out.
dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, no. And that's what they did with this one when they were trying to scare us with the music when nothing really was happening. So
Yeah, because I mean, they do a great job of it at fucking The Exorcist. The movie The Exorcist, the girl
Oh,
walks into her kitchen, all the lights are flickering, and there's
there's no music.
And
It's
there's no
just
music.
like
I haven't seen it.
okay,
Shit.
well we won't
add
say
it to the
anything.
list, ladies and gentlemen. Keep an eye
Yeah.
out for that. Let
Add
us
it
know
to
if you're
the
interested in listening to us talk about The Exorcist, the
Exorcist is
classic.
fucking amazing, dude. Okay,
Excuse me.
okay. So the scene cuts and it's Ed and Lorraine Warren's house. Ed is walking into the room where all the artifacts are, and he's
Talking to an investigator.
yeah, talking to an investigator, and he's explaining don't touch anything. Basically, what Zach Bagans does in the museum. That.
I would still like to be sponsored by you, Zach. It's okay.
It's a little bit of exposition here. The investigator is asking some questions that we would be asking as the audience, like, "Oh, why don't you destroy the objects?" It's like, okay, well, you can destroy the object, that won't destroy the.
I'm
spirit.
sorry. This is a reporter, isn't it?
Oh, it's a reporter.
It's a reporter. It's not a
Investigative reporter.
investigator. Yeah, he's an investigative reporter.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah, it might just be a regular reporter. It doesn't matter.
And he asked about Annabelle. They show Annabelle and she's in the glass case.
positively do not open. Warning. Giant sign on top
Yeah.
of that.
And this is the box. This is a replica of the box that they keep Annabelle in.
Yeah, look up Annabelle.
She's in the box.
Yeah, that's the way she is.
Yeah, and apparently they turned this into a museum where they live with the Warrens. I think believe
Really?
the Warrens had this as a museum. Yes.
Oh, so later on, Ed hears like a little noise, and he turns and he sees his daughter in the room, and he goes and he's like, "You're not supposed to be here. You already know this. Did you touch anything?" He kind of just basically says the rules, but it's kind of like for us to know the rules, and walks her out of the room.
Gives her to the nanny.
Yeah, I think it's his the
I think
grandmother.
it's the grandma because he kind of slams the door and you could tell on that door there's a couple locks, dude. It's not just your simple lock where the doorknob is. No, it's that lock, and then we got a couple locks on top of it attached to the door. Like no one's supposed to be in here, and they're
Yeah.
trying to make it as secure as possible.
So now we get Howard coming out and talking to his wife, and she's like, "Oh, how did it go? Oh yeah, good. I think he's gonna write a good article, a non-skeptical."
And then she says, stop blaming yourself. There's like an awkward silence between them. We don't know yet what she's talking about. We will know later on in the movie. And
oh no, Sadie.
and she takes a little drink of the coffee and she goes, ugh. And then the scene cuts and it's back at the Conjuring house, and it's a view from far, and you see Sadie's little tombstone.
Yeah, they had a little
cross for her.
cross for
Yeah.
her because I mean, dog's dead, obviously.
Yeah.
So let's put her on the ground. Sadly.
Mm-hmm.
And then it zooms into the grandfather clock as it stops on 3:07.
307.
And we get a view of the little girl's room, where it's the girl that they share a room. I forgot their names.
It's
honestly, right now.
Nancy, and I forgot her name. But
And this is 3 a.m., not p.m.
Yeah, so obviously she's passed out, and that's the image that we get. The camera's just slowly panning over her body, getting closer to her face, and then we just see her kind of get pulled down.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, we see her get pulled down, and she's like,
She's woken up.
groggy. Yeah, she's like, it's not funny, Nancy. And then you just hear Nancy in the background. What?
Yeah, the sister in the other bed.
Yeah, she's like, stop grabbing my foot, and she's like, I didn't do anything. Shut up. And she like just turns.
Oh yeah, right. Stop farting. It really stinks.
Damn,
Don't blame that on me. It's you who smelt it, dealt it.
that's right. Boom.
And they cut away from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just showing us a little, like what they're going on through, what is going through them. They're showing us what's actually going on. What's going. Oh my fucking god!
What they are experiencing.
It's actually showing us what they are going through on a daily basis. What the fuck, ladies and gentlemen? I don't know what's happening to me. Maybe I'm just scared.
Possessed.
It cuts to downstairs, and then you have the TV, and it's all staticky, and then it zooms out. It zooms to the dad,
He's
and
like taking a little nap at the desk.
He took a nap on the desk, and he's barely waking up.
Hardworking man, dude.
Yeah.
He's got a drink to his side right there. Mixing alcohol with ghosts. Never a good sign. Was he?
I think
Was there a sound?
I think there was a sound. I think. Sorry, we're watching this with subtitles, and I think he started hearing something, if I'm not mistaken.
He looks across everything in the room, looking out into the hall, turns off the TV, and he looks over at the closet, and he hears thumping.
I think it's the back door.
Oh, the back door.
The back door towards the kitchen.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we see Roger here just looking towards the kitchen, and he sees the door open slightly by itself. And I mean, he's like, okay, whatever, because at this point, I'm assuming that this man is a skeptic. He's just walking towards it, like,
Yeah.
whatever. Opens it real fast.
See if there's someone on the other side. I mean, the man has 5 daughters. He might be.
Yeah, he might be getting pranked, dude.
Yeah, he might be worried that one of them is sleepwalking.
Because apparently one of them actually does sleepwalk.
And there's wind everywhere. He hears the wind chimes.
And he sees an open window, and he's like, "Oh, okay, that was probably it."
Yeah, and then he hears a little banging.
Yeah, he hears a thud.
Yeah.
1, 2, and then as he's going up the stairs, the camera just looks up real quick, and one of his daughters is just standing there all creeper-like.
Yeah, in the
And
middle
he's
of
like,
the stairway.
Jesus. what's happening? He's like, oh, Cindy's in my room. She's sleepwalking again, which is what Carlos had mentioned earlier.
Do you see that's her? Oh no, it's not her room. It is her room, isn't it?
Yeah, yes.
I don't know. The place. I meant the placement because you know how he mentioned that it was. Oh, we've never go into that room.
No, that one was in the
That one-
left corner.
Yeah.
From the
Oh.
stairs. Because they go into this room a lot.
Yeah.
during the
Yeah.
movie.
This is like the room.
Yeah.
So they go into the. I'm assuming this is the older daughter's room, and Cindy's just banging her head on the wardrobe that's there, trying to get to Narnia, of course. And she's like banging her head nonstop, and it's like, Dad, I remember you told me not to wake her because
I
she
don't
was
even think she's
sleepwalking.
banging. She's just like lightly tapping her
Yeah,
head.
she's tapping her head. She's not sorry. Yeah, you're right. She's not fucking banging her head like fucking at a metal concert. She's lightly tapping her head
Yeah.
Yeah,
Once.
not enough to wake her up.
twice, but it's enough to make noise.
Yeah. So he just you know you're not supposed to wake her up. He puts his head on the forehead so she would stop, and then he just takes her to her room.
Yeah, and just puts her back to bed like nothing ever happened. Because I mean, that's how people deal with people that sleepwalk, man. Just guide them back to bed, and it's the best thing you could do, honestly. Scene cuts.
And it's the next morning. We've got the mother and father in the bathroom. The mom's hopping out of the shower. And she's got a towel wrapped around her, but you can see on her back she's got a bruise. And the husband notices, like, oh, well, what's that? And then she notices for the first time. It's like, oh, that's weird. And she comments that she's been getting bruises. It's like, oh, you gotta get that checked out. You gotta go to the doctor. It's like, okay, I will. And they kiss, and they're like, okay. So now scene cuts, and we've got the father coming out of the house.
Trying to get to
And
work.
He hears something thud hitting the side of the house. He looks over and he sees a dying bird. Like it had just run into the house. Just fucking flew straight into the fucking window. Right?
Yeah, poor birds, dude.
Super fucking weird, but creepy.
So then you have I'm guessing that dad's already gone. You have the mom saying bye to her 4 daughters. One's staying behind because she's little.
Yeah, she's too young
And-
to go to school.
Yeah, and the rest of the girls are heading towards the
school bus. They're like, bye, I love you. Making
Yeah.
up like, oh, God, so embarrassing.
Oh.
Then we got the point of view of the mother walking to the house, walking towards the youngest daughter's room. And she's talking. She's talking to someone as if she has a friend there.
Like, you're my friend, right? Let's play. And that's it. The mom opens the door, like fully opens the door, and there's actually no one sitting in front of her.
She's,
But she does have the little music box that she had earlier in the scene earlier.
and he's like, oh, who are you talking to? Oh, it's my friend. What's
Rory.
Rory.
Rory. I'm never going to be able to say that name.
Rory.
Rory. It just doesn't feel right coming out of my mouth.
Really?
Rory. Eh.
Rory from Doctor Who, dude.
Rory. from
But
Doctor-
the daughter says to the mom, oh, do you want to see him? Like, sure. It's like, okay. And she sets up the little toy box.
that she had found in the tree in the first scene.
She winds it up and she opens it up, and it's got a mirror on the back side of it. With a spiral sort of kind of like
Yeah,
a
design.
hypnosis kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it spins as the music plays. And she's looking into it, expecting to see. And she says, oh, he'll appear behind you. Okay, so she's focusing on the reflection, just focusing. She doesn't see anything.
She sees like one of the windows, like just like a little wind thing goes on the curtains.
The
I
curtain.
didn't
It kind of
Yes.
moves, and she kind of does like a face, like, "Oh shit!" Like something is gonna happen, and
Yeah.
then the daughter just boo, like fucking jumps behind her.
Damn,
And
dude.
like, you little shit!
Bitch.
Fucking slapped her right
Cheap
there.
ass jump scare. Yes.
Yeah, honestly. So then it's like, Mom, can we play hide and go clap? I never get to play because she's the youngest one, you know.
Aw.
Kind of sucks. They did do that to her. Her sister did her dirty, but whatever. The mom's like, oh, okay,
Okay,
fine.
fine,
That's
fine.
fine.
So the mom is the one that's blindfolded.
Now
And
responsible. I'll just start with that.
Honestly.
Yeah.
It's a new house, dude. It's a new house, and you know what? Let's just play hide and go clap. I don't even know where anything is. So, whatever.
yeah,
She
so
spins her, counts
and
up to 10.
yeah, and the little girl leaves. She's gonna go hide, and the mom's she asks for one clap, and she starts following the clap and stuff.
She ends up hitting the railing for the.
Yeah, and she's like, "Oh
Second
shit!"
floor.
She kind of
Yeah,
chuckles.
that's where she's getting all those bruises, dude.
Yeah, probably.
All this hide and go clap playing, dude.
And so she goes into the oldest daughter's room.
Yeah.
And she's looking for the daughter, April, trying to coax her into making sound.
Yeah.
She doesn't. And then she hears the creaking of the wardrobe opening behind her.
Yeah, because in this image we get a shot of her walking towards the bed, and behind her we could see the wardrobe completely, and we just hear like creak, we just hear it open slowly, and it's like, okay, give me the third clap.
I want to point out this is another long shot
Yeah.
where it's been the same shot since she opened into the room, and it just now barely cut after we get that third clap and we see the hands coming out of the wardrobe clapping for her.
So she's like, I know where you are, and she goes towards the wardrobe, and she's like, April, 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 and then she hears footsteps, and she realizes, and she takes off the blindfold. She looks through all the clothes, and there's no one there. And then April comes in, and she's like, ha, I was in Christine and Nancy's room, Mom. You lose. You took off your blindfold. And the mom's like, holy shit.
Because she realizes that there was something in there.
Yeah, that's another case of the other stuff that they seem to go through on a daily basis. Like shit just keeps happening around them, but they still need to move on and do shit. Like right now we get it cuts scene, obviously, and it goes to night. And it shows that the dad's going, Roger, that he's driving a fucking tractor, so we're left to assume that he's a truck driver.
Yeah,
he's trying to get a job to make it.
Or he got a job for the phone, and he's
at
just
half his rate, Carlos. This man's being fucked over.
Yeah, he's getting fucked over, but he's got to pay for all this.
And he has to work. Yeah, like there's no other jobs. This one's the only one. Might as well get paid half instead of nothing.
Yeah, they show us that these families going through your regular day-to-day kind of, I guess, struggle, air quotes, you know, like everyone needs to do something and everyone's backed up on something, and that's just making it very clear to us that these people are struggling to have the very little that they have, I guess.
But I mean, they had to buy this house on auction, and we don't know what happened to the house before it got into auction.
Yeah, that's true.
But we know that now the man's gonna be out of the house. It's gonna be left undefended. House full of young women.
That's true.
In the middle of nowhere. So
we
go ahead.
Oh, okay, thanks. We get another shot at night. I'm assuming it's past 3 again. We see Christy in Nancy's room. We're watching Christy sleep, and her leg gets pulled again.
And we get a good view that there's nothing there pulling it, by the way. We actually get that angle. Because in the first scene, we weren't able to see that. We just saw, like, the top half of her body, like, get pulled downwards. Yeah. But now we actually see her foot just get yanked from the bed.
It's a small one at first, though. And then it's like, stop it. And then, boom, like, she gets moved from the bed. It was an intense pull.
Yeah, it was literally a pull. She was getting pulled off the bed, and she gets woken up completely. She's freaking out.
She realized that Nancy's in the other bed, like it wasn't even Nancy.
So she assumes that there's someone in the room.
I appreciate the fact that there's no music going on in this. I love that.
And so she's freaking out, looking into the darkness, looking for something or someone, right?
She goes to the edge of her bed.
And she looks down, and she doesn't see anything. But she might have seen something. We don't see anything because she gasps. And she goes back to the center of the bed. She starts whimpering.
She's breathing real heavy, too. Like the fucking fear is setting in, you know? And then I feel like she does something that's super ballsy to me.
Dude, yes, I wouldn't have had done this. She peeks over and she actually looks under the bed. I would have kind of, just let me see from far and then just stayed in the middle of the bed. No, she looks under the bed.
Pretty vulnerable position too, because she's hanging off the bed at this point.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, she's looking under the bed, looking out to something. I really don't know what I'm looking at, but there is something.
Yeah, she sees the door. The door starts kind of moving by itself, and she freaks out.
Oh yeah, it creaks open.
Yeah, and then she's looking at the door.
I really like that they do that with the camera. It makes you kind of dizzy the first time, but they do it also later on in another scene that I really like it.
At that point, you already expect it. But now it looks like there's something that's behind the door in the room.
To us, it's pure darkness. We don't see anything, but apparently it's very clear to her.
The door is latched open, like there's a space between the wall and the door.
Yeah.
At this point, she decides to wake up Nancy. She's like, Nancy, and Nancy's like, what are you doing? And she's like, Christine, and she notices her sister is like crying. And you can tell in her face that she's really scared. And she's like, do you see it? Do you see what's there? And then she's like, see what? She's like, behind the door. Nancy gets up and she goes towards the door and she's like, look, there's nothing.
And his sister is shaking throughout this whole time. It's like, there's someone standing over there right now. Like, there's someone there right now.
But she goes up to the door.
And she goes, it's standing right behind you.
No, there's nothing there. She walked into the space between the door and the wall.
She's like, oh, there's that smell again. Ugh. And that's when she says that, like, it's standing right behind you.
And you hear heavy breathing. So there is something there.
Yeah.
And Nancy is looking behind her.
And she's up.
She doesn't say anything.
Yeah. And the door slams shut. Obviously, Christine screams. The parents wake up and they go towards the room. They're trying to open it. It won't open. And then the dad comes and pushes really hard. And then the door finally opens. And they ask, what's wrong? What's going on? And she was like, there's someone behind the door. And then the dad goes in and was like, there's nothing here. There's nobody. And she was like, there was someone else in here. I was just sleeping, and then I felt somebody grab my feet. I thought it was Nancy.
Great acting by the little girl,
Yeah.
by the way. Like that, like the way she did it was really good.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, there's no one here. And then she's like, no, it talked to me. It said it wants my family dead. And she's crying. All of the sisters are just looking at her, and they're scared. By the way, yes, this girl is a very great actress. She's been acting since she was little, and the most recent movie is The Kissing Booth from Netflix.
Fun fact.
Get that
Fun
money.
fact.
Get that money. But the father's like, oh, it must have been a bad dream. But they're like, no.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it would have been a shared dream at that point because
Yeah.
they were both awake.
I would have liked for Nancy to at least be like, I was standing next to the door and the door slammed. Like, she's not crazy. It wasn't a dream. Like, I saw it, Dad. Like, kind of defend
it
her, you
happened.
know?
But
Yeah.
Christine's probably not as good an actress.
Nancy.
Apparently.
Nancy.
Nancy apparently is not as good as an actress because she was just standing there with her giant beady eyes and that's it.
Yeah, she was scared. That's the
Yeah, I
only
guess so. I guess.
emotion you get.
Yeah, Nancy's whole acting thing is she's got glasses.
Damn. Them props, dude.
So now we cut away to Howard and Lorraine. What's their last name?
Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Ed and Lorraine. Why am I saying Howard?
I don't know why.
I said Howard earlier. No one corrected me.
You said Howard?
He did. I just let it happen. I was like, okay.
I didn't hear you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please leave a comment down below if you noticed that the first time. That we're full of shit.
Basically, there's a case that they want Ed and Lorraine to look at, but Ed didn't want Lorraine to go. And Lorraine's like, really? When have you ever been able to lie to me? And he's like, okay, fine, there's a case. And she's like, oh, she gets in the car.
Even then, we're talking about a clairvoyance, so
Yeah.
lying to this person would be a little bit complicated.
Yeah, and he's like, no, I don't want you to go. And he's like, there was a reason why we were put in this earth together. Ed eventually lets Lorraine get in the car, and they ended up going to this random people's house. They don't even introduce them. And
I do appreciate this scene where they are actually debunking
yeah.
a haunting right here.
Mm-hmm.
Where they're in the attic, they're going over all the possible reasons why there have been sounds and why there have been movements in the house or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's super plausible, right?
Yeah. She's
Yeah,
like,
I
what
like
do
that.
you hear? And then she's like, do it, Ed. And Ed does this thing. And they're like, yes, it's that. She's like, okay, here, let's explain to you what it is. And they explain the whole thing, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
it kind of makes it very clear to us that these are actual serious ghost hunters, and they're not just gonna make whatever sound happens. Oh my God, it is a ghost, and we cut it on camera. No, they're actually gonna try and debunk it, and be like, you know what? This is what's causing your problem. Your house is not haunted. And the guy even says, so this house is not haunted? He's like, no. Like, we get a lot of calls, and most of the time, it's like this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's something completely rational.
I want to say that capitalism ruined ghost hunting.
Sadly, I'll agree with you on that.
It just wouldn't be as interesting a show if every week you had to roll the dice to see if you were getting any haunting or not.
I mean, there is a couple shows that actually do that, and they don't catch anything.
There was a Ghost Hunters, like the original
Taps?
Ghost Taps. Grant had to leave. I don't know why. I think he decided to just spend more time with his family.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Later on, like recently, last year, he came up with his own version of Ghost Hunters.
Yeah, dude.
And most of the episodes, he's debunking.
Yeah, he's actually out there debunking these fucking places. Like, he's not there, oh my god, we're surrounded by ghosts, I'm so scared.
Yeah, no.
No.
He debunked. There was a video that got really, really. It went viral. It was at a school, and you kind of see the ghost going into like the restroom or something like that. Okay, he debunked that video, and he shows that it was spider webs.
Yeah. Because he went up there to the cameras, and obviously he's being recorded as he's going up, and then he's like, look, and it's just fucking bunch of cobwebs in front of it.
Wow, dirty ass fucking school.
Honestly.
trying to get some clout with their cobwebs.
And they're trying to get some of that budget, bro. They're trying to get some budget to buy some fucking cameras, or claim the fucking cameras at least.
Just school supplies.
I don't know, but I really appreciated that.
That he's coming back to the ghost hunting with that in mind.
I mean, every ghost. I don't know what I've seen, and maybe it's just the wrong shows, but every like ghost hunting kind of show I've seen, they always try to make it out to be real, right?
Yeah.
I do appreciate when you try to debunk it, because I would want to know what I'm looking for if I had a haunting, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's very true. Okay, well, getting back to the movie here, it cuts to the mother at night, and again nighttime, but now it's in her room. Now she's in my bad, it's in her bathroom, and she's looking at all the bruises, because the bruises are just getting worse, and they're everywhere. Like, now she has them in her
One on her forearm. She's got one on the top of her chest right here. She kind of opens up her shirt to see it, and she's taking medicine for it. It looks like she's
like
taking
she
the
did
iron.
go to the doctor.
It's iron pills,
Iron
because
supplements.
she basically, you take that when you have like an iron deficiency or something.
Because
like
you
that.
could be easily bruised when you got an iron deficiency.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she's walking into all these fucking the thing for the
Railings?
stairs, the railing, when she was playing the hide and go clap, dude.
I mean,
Goddamn.
that would be the best way to debunk your own fucking iron deficiency.
No shit. It's like, maybe I just need to stop playing hide and go clap for like a week or two, and just get my bruises go
For
away.
a week or two, maybe. I don't know.
Damn.
Anyway, so the banana ends up taking the pill, and she
The banana?
bruised like a banana.
Oh.
I like that.
Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
Bruised like a banana.
So she's folding some clothes, and she starts hearing noises, and she hears a laugh, and she goes, girls, it's already late. Like, there's
She
no...
hears the clap.
Oh, it's a clap. There's no, like, it's already late.
No. Like,
go to
she
bed.
heard all the laughing and stuff, and then she heard a clap.
Oh.
Like,
And
oh, really? Like, y'all are playing.
Yeah.
So she turns off the music. She leaves the room looking for the girls. She goes into one of the rooms.
Asleep. They're asleep.
Yeah, she sees Christy and Nancy asleep.
She goes to the other room. Oh, that one's Christy and Nancy's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one was April and...
The other girl.
Yeah, the girl from
Girl
Twilight.
number 4. Girl number
Sorry.
40. She looks down at the railing. She's walking towards the railing. She's looking downstairs. And she's looking downstairs and sees nothing. And then she goes to the other room, the older sister's room, which is the room with the wardrobe. We need to be
Yeah.
specific. This is where that room is and that wardrobe is.
And they're all asleep.
Everyone's passed out, and this is the part that I love because Carlos literally died, ladies and gentlemen.
Watching this for the first time, I mean, this scene was so loud right here. I expect the whole house to be awake.
No music. No
There was
music, by the way.
Yeah,
No
no
music,
music. You
no
just
music
hear
at all.
shattering all over the place.
Well, it didn't sound like shattering. The text
Yeah.
says shattering. It sounds like a giant bang.
Yeah.
And you see it's all the
All
portraits.
the
that they
all the
had.
pictures that they had on the staircase are on the stairs now.
Yeah, they basically got knocked down all at once.
Yeah, they were all knocked down and they're all shattered now. And so she's like, well, what the fuck? And she goes down to the bottom floor and she's lighting up the rooms and opening up the doors to the other rooms. And
I would have done the same, dude. I would have turned
Same.
on all the lights.
Same. You need to get a visual, dude. What the hell? Whatever the hell's down there. And in this case, she thinks that someone broke into her house
Yeah.
because obviously this person / entity is clapping, is making noises that they would make on a daily basis. Like there's someone in the house.
And so she checks one of the rooms, and she's kind of walking into one of the dark rooms. I think
Yeah.
maybe the room you have to go over across the room, turn on the light switch, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's got a room like that. And as she's like creeping into that room, she hears another clap, clap. Then she quickly turns around to where it is. It's down at the end of the hall. She walks to the end of the hall. It's like across from the kitchen and the laundry room, little hallway. She turns on the lights, and she's looking out to the back door. Nothing.
She looks like to a living room. Oh, where the desk, where the area where the desk was at, where Roger was sleeping.
Yeah, I think
She
like
kind of
study
peeked.
room.
Yeah, she's walking towards the kitchen, and she gets a sudden chill in her back because you could hear the door to the basement widely open. And she turns around, looks at the door, and is like, "Oh fuck!" Like you
Dude,
get that look in her face,
yeah.
dude.
I love the
It-
fact
it-
that she turned, but she put her back towards the wall, kind of like, I don't even want to look. And if there is someone, might as well just kind of stay.
Because I want to remind everyone, she's the only adult in the house. Right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
The
Roger's out there in the
Girls
truck.
are all asleep, and this door was closed, completely closed when she passed by it just a second ago, and now it's wide open. Completely spooky stuff. 10 out of 10 spooks. And so she's looking down into the
The
basement now.
darkness, dude.
I don't
Yeah.
even know what you do at this point. I personally, I would not want to walk into that basement.
Dude,
They haven't even
no.
explored
Same.
it completely.
Same, yeah, same.
I don't think she even walked in. She kind of just peeks, decides to go back, and she yells, "Whoever's down there, I'm gonna lock you in now!" Boom. Door slams in her face. She ends up falling to the basement. She didn't even want to go down there.
She rolls down the flight of stairs right
Yeah,
here.
dude, she got a couple hits, dude. That
Yeah.
fall looked fucking bad.
She better have some bruises now.
That's true, dude.
Yeah.
Honestly, she's kind of looking around the basement, looking around. The light is on that she turned on, and she seems to have like tears in her
Dude,
eyes.
she's
fucking
frightened.
She's looking for
scared.
something, right? Is it her heavy breathing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's her heavy breathing because the subtitle said breathing heavily, but it's her. Like there's no one else there.
And then the ball gets thrown at her from out of nowhere. She gets scared. She decides to go upstairs.
She's running up the
Yeah.
stairs with her hands and her feet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, she's running.
Completely
She's
terrified.
literally running with all four, dude.
Yeah.
Like hands, feet, just hauling ass upstairs.
Light bulb gets
It blows out.
It
and
blows
completely
out.
shatters.
Then you hear laughter. You hear
kids laughter.
kids laughing. It's like fuck, dude.
She finds the matches that
Roger had left
Roger
there
had left
on
there.
the first night.
I was gonna say Howard again.
She's lighting one match. She's just trying to look down. It burns her. Throws it down, and then it's the subtitles say Rory and said, "Hey, you wanna play hide and go clap?" And then with that second match that she has lit next to her, which no one was supposed to be up there, you see a pair of hands come from the darkness, from the
Yeah.
darkness, and just clap next to her face.
And she's shocked. She in darkness now, and she's just completely panicking in that.
And she's banging on the door for the oldest girl to wake up, for any of the kids to wake up, but she's yelling for the oldest. At
No.
this point, the oldest girl wakes up because she hears Cindy banging or tapping her head on the wardrobe again, like
Like the sleepwalking like
Uh-huh.
she did in the first night.
she notices her. She kind of goes towards her and she's like, "Oh," and she like stops her and she goes, "You can sleep with me tonight," and lays her down on the bed. So the wardrobe starts doing that thud thing that Cindy was doing without Cindy
Without
being
Cindy,
there.
obviously.
So then the oldest girl turns and she starts going towards the wardrobe.
I love this right here.
Yeah. Cindy sits up, is looking at her older sister. The older sister opens the wardrobe, both doors, and Cindy looks up and she goes, the older sister turns around and there's this lady on top. She looks disgusting. She looks super scary.
It looks like she's dead.
Yeah.
Honestly, dude, yeah. Well said. She looks like
Yeah.
she's dead.
Like a
But
zombie. It's like a zombie coming at her.
Kinda, yeah,
and
because
she
there's
has,
like liquid
black-
coming out of her mouth.
Yeah, she has
and
fucking
everything.
black gunk coming out of her, and here we go. Hardworking man, dude.
Yeah.
Coming off
He
a long
parks up
day
the
of work.
truck. Yeah,
Dude,
dude, he
it's-
Long
parks
week
the
of
truck.
work.
As the fucking lady jumped on the oldest girl. she jumped on her. So the guy's getting home from work. He runs to the house once he hears everything. He opens the door to the basement because that's the closest one that was there. Opens to the lady. Cindy is running out of the room. She's yelling for her parents, and then once they enter the room, there's the oldest girl was fighting with something that you couldn't see.
Well, she's thrashing about, I guess, because what was there has gotten her so shaken up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the dad like all pissed off. Can someone tell me what the hell is going on? He's like, dude, I just got back from work. I'm trying to take a nap. No, dude. Everyone's going fucking crazy, and all the little girls are fucking crying and shit.
Dude, the mom hugs the Cindy, and she hugs the oldest daughter, because obviously the mom is also coming or trying to calm herself down.
Yeah, because she just experienced some crazy ass shit herself. All right, so we get a cutscene, and we're in Massachusetts now, and Ed gets this. It basically shows us a presentation of what Ed and Lorraine are kind of giving out right now. And it's Ed, fear is defined by the feeling of agitation and anxiety caused by the presence or imminence of danger, whether it's a ghost, a spirit, or an entity. They all feed on it. Take Maurice here, a French-Canadian farmer who had nothing more than a third-grade education. Yet, after he was possessed, he spoke but some of the best Latin I've ever heard, sometimes even backwards. And he was molested by his father, who tortured him, and a dark spirit made his home in this man. Now, if you look into his eyes here, you can see him tearing blood. And we get a scene here where there's a bunch of people looking at the video because he's basically doing a presentation on one of his exorcisms that was performed.
Yeah.
Not by Ed himself, but he was there. He was there as a witness, and so was his wife, Lorraine.
Like he brought the case to the Vatican or whatever, right?
Yeah, because he's the one that has to get all the evidence together in order for them to perform an exorcism.
After that, it just kind of pans out on the whole crowd, and everyone's looking at it like, oh shit, like everyone's kind of shocked by this footage. And then Ed here brings up, and like that, just an upside down cross started to appear from within his body, and you could see it, and you hear everyone like, oh shit, what the fuck?
Like a cross trying to poke out through his torso.
Yeah, and everyone's like, all right, Drew, get the lights, and then everyone raised their hands. Everyone, and then they just started asking him stuff about what they just witnessed and what do you guys think, and they're just going back and forth. And it's like, what happened to Maurice? Well, he tried to kill his wife, but instead he shot her
and then turned the gun on
himself, right?
Yeah, that his life was so troubled, not even exorcism could bring him back.
And here we get a shot of the audience. It's kind of panning out towards
he's going over the different stages of haunting into a possession, where first they got the infestation, oppression, and then finally the possession of the host. Now the infestation, that's the whispering, the footprints, the feeling of another presence, and it grows into oppression, the second stage, where the victim is the one that's psychologically vulnerable and being targeted by the external force. Then it breaks down the victim and it crushes their will, making them more susceptible to the possession. And I think you want to bring up the cameo that's in the audience here?
Yeah, we get a little cameo here, Lety.
Of Lorraine Warren. It's Lorraine Warren. She's I guess one of the people listening to the presentation. I just really like the fact that her hairstyle is exactly as the actress that's playing Lorraine Warren.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's a good little cameo. I'm glad they brought her on board. I wonder if she had a contractual obligation to be on, but
I don't think
so. I think it's one of those things where like, hey, we're making a movie of the thing. Obviously they asked permission to use her name and the husband's name.
I think they wanted to just include her as something just for night, like something nice. And then the scene cuts, and it's Drew coming out of the university with the mom.
Mother. Yeah,
she was also in the audience, by the way.
Yeah, she was also in the audience, and they're coming out together, and he's gonna take the mother to meet Ed and Lorraine Warren. And she says that there's something horrible happening in the house. They kind of like blew it off at first. They were like, oh, it's usually like just something that you can debunk it, basically. And she was like,
it's kind of late.
Yeah, and it's kind of late. And she goes, please, I have 5 girls that are sleeping in the living room because they're all scared to death. You have a child. please, like, understand. And they kind of looked at each other and they're like, of course we'll
Oh,
help.
Lorraine was the one.
Yeah.
That's like, oh, of course. After Ed didn't say anything.
Yeah.
Fucking, oh my god, I love them so much together, dude, honestly.
Yeah.
So the scene cuts is them driving already to the house itself. So they obviously show the house, and they're all watching TV together in the living room. And cool.
The Brady Bunch is on.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, honestly. Then okay, cool. So they're all there, and they hear a knock on the door, and it's Lorraine and Ed, obviously. It's like, oh my god, hello, thank you for coming, and they basically get the introduction to the house, the Warrens here. And it's like, nice to meet you, Roger. Thank you for coming, and thank you. And we get Lorraine. She's kind of giving them this weird look, and she's kind of just looks towards the little girl. She's like, oh my god, who are these beautiful young women? It's like, oh, this is Andrea, Nancy, Cindy, Christine, and April. And Lorraine has this concerned look on her face, is the way that I could put it.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at all the kids, like, okay, cool. Like, oh, why are you guys down here? Well, it's because it feels safer and it's warmer. I keep constantly having to turn up the heat. And they're just listening to what they're saying.
Yeah.
They're not talking. They're just listening. He's like,
but
yeah, there's something wrong with the furnace. I think we need to get
Well, they
that
say
checked.
there's nothing wrong with the furnace.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, my bad. Then there's nothing wrong with the service. It's like, well, it's gotten a lot worse in the couple nights, and there's this awful smell, like kind of like rotten meat, and they're just listening to them again. They're not guiding anything.
But you can see a look in their faces already.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's concern.
And then Roger mentions that
Ed
that
mentions.
oh yeah, well, Ed mentions why the doors are tied up, and Roger mentions that they had to tie them up because the doors kept on banging, like it comes in threes. And then Ed's like, it comes in threes, and he's like, yeah. And he like kind of mimics the knocking, and he goes, okay, well, it's
It stops at dawn. And
it
he's
stops
like,
at dawn.
yeah,
It's usually an insult to the Holy Trinity, the Son and
the
the Father,
the
the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
It's like, it's one of the damnedest things, but whatever. They talk about how they had all the pictures on the wall and how they all fell. And Roger's talking about those birds. And talking about the birds that keep hitting your house. Apparently, this is a daily
constant thing,
occurrence.
yeah.
This is a daily occurrence. It keeps happening.
They mention
he-
the clocks, how they stop at 3:07 a.m. All of them.
There's a
And
whole bunch of evidence.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and nothing's honestly being presented to him, but they're just letting him know this is all the experiences that we've had.
And Ed looks into the oldest daughter's room and starts staring at the wardrobe.
And they're like, that's the wardrobe that was here when we were talking about. And there's a bunch of antique things down in the basement or the cellar. And Lorraine just goes, okay, show me the cellar. They go downstairs, and you have Lorraine just quietly, and she has her eyes closed, and she's just listening and to everything. And then she starts hearing like a bunch of voices coming from everywhere.
We do get a nice shot when the voices are where the camera pans around her.
Uh-huh.
I was about to say, like, that camera angle was, that camera work was great because it's pure darkness. You could only see her face, which kind of puts you inside of her shoes. Like, this is what she experiences. She hears pure darkness. The camera pans around her completely, and the room lights up. And that's when she starts to open her eyes. And then it's like, are you getting something, Ed? It's like, something awful happened down here, Ed. It's Lorraine telling him.
Yeah.
Now they're in the
The
dining
kitchen,
room,
yeah.
the kitchen. The mother's serving them coffee.
Yeah, they're gonna have like a small interview, and Ed notices the bruise, and he's like, "Oh, what happened?" He was like, "Oh, just an iron
Deficiency.
that I have."
And they're like, oh, well, why don't you move out? It's like, oh, well, all our money's tied up here. And where are you going to take a family of 7?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, I'm glad you found us. And he's like, all right, let's get started. Presses a button on the recorder that he has there, presents himself. My name is Ed Warren. It's November 1st, 1971. I'm sitting here with Carolyn, and who her and her family have been experiencing paranormal occurrences. Like, okay, go ahead. And then the woman's like, where do I start? Ed, obviously, like, from the first occurrence. Okay, well, I guess it was the clocks. And then it cuts, and then it shows Lorraine with the youngest daughter.
With April. And she's like, I heard that you have a friend named Dory. And she's like, yes. And it started with the whole toy thing that she had found in the tree. And she's like, Lorraine's like, do you mind if I see Rory? And she's like, no. So she hands the toy to Lorraine, and she kind of looks at it and then opens it, and she starts doing the little music or winding up so
Yeah.
the music can start playing.
Yeah, and this little music box is pretty old too. It looks pretty nice though.
Mm-hmm.
She cranks it, it starts spinning, and we get an angle of Lorraine just trying to look around through the actual mirror that's on the toy, trying to look around and see if she could see Rory.
Then yeah, she sees after the reflection across the house, she actually sees Rory looking at her through the little mirror.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he looks like he's dressed like in a pilgrim's outfit, I would like to
Yeah.
say, right? It's like a little
Yeah.
uniform, I guess. No, it's
Yeah,
an
something
outfit.
like the 40s or something.
Yeah, something kind of old, and that scene just cuts, and it's Lorraine kind of walking towards the backyard, walking towards the lake, where there's this giant arc, basically, of a tree that we see there, which it looks extremely old just by the size of it.
Yeah.
She's standing around looking at the lake. Ed, camera turns back towards Ed, barely walking out of the house and looking for her, walking towards her, and just, hey. And then she gets like a shiver. And then you hear a
hearing,
creak.
yeah, you
You
start
hear a
hearing the
creak.
creaking. She turns to the creaking, or she turns to Ed, but she starts looking up.
And it's like, what is it? What is it? She doesn't say anything. She just keeps on looking, and then you could see, for us, they show us what she can see.
And you can see feet next to Ed's face, basically.
Like a body hanging from the
Uh
tree.
huh.
I think it's great the way the actress herself kind of portrayed that, because it showed fear, but it also showed intimidation.
Mm-hmm.
She was intimidated because she kind of tried to put her head like
Yeah.
between her shoulders. She kind of went down, and that's just a sign of weakness, honestly. You're just putting your head between your shoulders, just trying to hide.
And now we get back to the living room. I mean, the kitchen, the dining room, and the family is explaining that they bought the house from the bank on an auction or whatever. And they are explained by the investigators here that, yeah, they may need to perform the exorcism. That they believe that there is something here, and they explained that Lorraine had actually seen it.
Yeah.
And then they motioned to Lorraine to go ahead and explain it.
Yeah, Roger's kind of confused because he thought exorcism was only for people, and they go like, no, it can be performed on houses too. At which point, the mother, Carolyn,
Yeah.
I think,
Carolyn.
turns to Roger and she's like, we have to leave. And Ed and Lorraine Warren's like, it's too late. Like this
Entity has attached itself to you guys
Mhm.
now. And at this point, Ed is explaining, he's like, Lorraine has actually seen it by herself already. The entity that haunts your house and that haunts your land.
She's been seeing it all throughout the
She's-
house since we walked in. It was behind Carol. It was with the girls when I first met them.
And we get to see a little flashback of her seeing,
Through Lorraine's point of view.
and we get to see sort of a dark mass of smoke hanging over the family in all the shots. And she explains that it's feeding off them. So even if they leave, it will just follow them. It's like stepping in gum. You take it with you.
Yeah, that's fucking. I love Ed's super simplistic way of putting
Of
it.
explaining it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's like, you know what? It's like a piece of gum. You step on it, and it just kind of goes with you. That's it.
And they explain how it could be very dangerous because it's a hateful spirit that they are feeling right here.
But in order to perform an exorcism, they need to collect evidence.
Yeah. They need to get. That needs to be authorized by the church, and we gotta investigate. We gotta gather evidence, provide the proof, and that's honestly the hard part. And then it just kind of shows them leaving the house, and it's like, okay, have your children been baptized? Ed is asking. He's like, no, we're not really church-going people. And then Ed's like, well, you might want to rethink that. He's like, why? He's like, our presence here is gonna aggravate this spirit because it sees us as a threat.
And so far it hasn't done anything too violent, so that's a good sign. So we're going to have to do our homework on the property and see what we are actually working against. And now we get to see them going back home. Now we have Lorraine tucking the daughter into bed.
And their daughter Judy has a little present for Lorraine. It's just a necklace of her, like with a picture of her inside. And she's like, I have one too. And it's she has her parents inside the necklace.
It's honestly super cute, guys.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen this movie, shit, I recommend it. First of all, because it's damn good. But I mean, this scene in itself is just kind of like a cute little thing from daughter to like her parents. Because I mean, usually the parents are the one handing out the gifts. So anything small that your children give you is just fucking amazing. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's something that she could wear and always think about her. She's
yeah.
always got her with her.
So now it's Ed, and he's looking at the table. He's like, "You're not gonna believe this." He's walking towards her, kind of excited. He's like, "Carolyn's voice wasn't recorded." He's like, "What? What do you?" Lorraine's like, "What? What do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, listen." He puts the audio. He's like, "My name is Ed Warren, November 1st. I'm sitting here with Caroline, who
Yeah, it's
with
the same
her and her
recording from
family."
earlier.
Yeah.
Exactly. But he's like, "Okay, go ahead." Nothing from the first occurrence. Like, what? You don't hear her responses at all because she was talking throughout this whole thing.
I mean, we just saw it, and we even saw that he had actually put the microphone right in front of her. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
there was no reason for her to not be picked up other than supernatural.
Nothing. The whole time. That's what Aaron says. It's like, I don't know. You find anything on the property? Like, yeah, lots. I mean, it's no wonder they're going through what they are going through. That's the original farmhouse. It was built in 1869 by a man named Hudson Sherman, and it gives us background of what was going on. He was married to this woman named Bathsheba. She was related to one of the witches that actually was related to the witchcraft
In
from
Salem.
then Salem. So it brings us back all this time. So Bathsheba had this kid, and when the baby was 7 days
Days.
old, he sacrificed it in front of the fireplace.
She sacrificed it.
Yeah.
She sacrificed the
And
baby
then-
in front
The,
of the
the
fireplace.
husband caught her sacrificing.
Yeah.
Shit.
And then after she sacrificed the baby, she went to the tree, proclaimed her love for Satan, and hung herself.
Cursing anyone who tried to take her land.
Yeah.
They pronounced the death at 3:03 in the morning.
307.
3:07. 3:03? What the fuck is 3:03?
I don't know.
I don't know, Carlos, but you watch out at 303.
But we get to see some photos of the people that lived in the property after her. And how they all mysteriously died.
Mm-hmm. Different cases. You get to see Rory, his mom.
Yeah,
And I don't know if we'll get into it so much for all these different hauntings, but I would have liked to have gotten more content from those hauntings in this movie.
I feel like at this point, this could have been a small little mini series.
I guess.
Like, give me 10 episodes.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Hour apiece.
that would have been quality right there. You could have done an episode of backstory for each one of them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that would have been really cool. So,
So,
at this point, like,
yeah.
they show the 200-acre farm, the original farm, and Lorraine's mentioning how, oh, you know what, like, the parts were sold off, a couple acres were sold off here and there, blah, 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 and this part is still with them. And right there, when they talk, they hear like a click of the recording machine.
It
And
starts
it's from the
playing.
very beginning where Ed is talking, and then when it gets to the point where Carol is gonna
They're
gonna
supposed to
talk,
talk.
it's just static and
And
moaning,
moaning.
and it's just super loud noise.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's supposed to be the spirit,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right?
At this point, they get that loud, and they notice. They kind of look at the clock next to the recording machine, and it's, what do you know, 3:07. But I mean, all right, guys. Well, that's kind of all the time that we have for today.
Yeah,
Do you
look
guys
at the
have-
time. 3:07. Oh God,
Oh,
gotta go.
Jesus.
shit.
Gotta go. So, I want to thank you all for listening. Look out for the next episode. And until next time, watch out for us on the far side of the moon.